Come on in. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Come on in. As you enter, if you will drop in the chat where you are checking in from so we can know where the audience is at. And then also, if there's any special tax provisions for your area, go ahead and drop it in the chat. I hope everyone is having an amazing day. That's what I was trying to do. Come on in, guys. I'm going to give it a few minutes for some people to hop on. As you're hopping in, if you'll go ahead and share this live for me, I would greatly appreciate it. And so I know we were supposed to be finishing up the series, and I'm going to touch on that really quick. Moving some stuff out of the way here. I'm going to touch on that really quick, but we're going to actually finish it up tomorrow. So I am still committed to going live for 30 days, even though there was a break in the 30 days, but I am still committed to going live for those 30 days. 1 second here. I'm trying to. Y'all know I am not techie, okay? I am not techie. But as you're coming in, go ahead and drop in the chat where you're checking in from for me, so I can see where everyone is at. Hey, lady. I hope you're having an amazing day. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. For those of you who do not know me and you're new to my page, welcome. And thank you for joining us. We do this every Tuesday at 7 p.m. for Tax Talk Tuesdays. I am Tawana with Bryant Business Solutions. I am the CEO of Bryant Business Solutions, which is a 100% virtual tax and accounting firm. And we're based out of Columbia, South Carolina. And what we do is we provide a full range of services. All right, roll with me here. All right. So we help you get started in business. We offer business formation services. From those business formation services, you will then need bookkeeping. So we do offer those services for you. And at year end or fiscal year end, whichever you elect for your business, when we form it at year end for your business, we will then do your taxes for you. As you earn more money, as you grow in business, we then offer you tax planning services to help you learn how to save as much as you can on those taxes by finding legal loopholes to help you work around those tax laws that's in place. Of course, it is tax avoidance, which is perfectly legal, not tax evasion. And then as you grow, we help you scale to the next level of our services, which is offering you outsourced CFO services, which gives you CFO services at about a third of the cost if you were to hire someone in-house. And what we're designed to do, what we want to make sure we save you time and money. We want to get you any questions answered regarding your complicated tax codes or resolve any issues that you may have. We help you develop a strategy and a roadmap to resolve those issues. So we don't only tell you what you may be doing wrong. We help you find ways to resolve those issues. We want to give you a peace of mind and help reduce costly mistakes over and over again. We leave so much money on the table at tax time because you don't know what to look for in your business when it comes to pulling out those little things that you can claim that you didn't even have a clue. Yes, there's surface items that everyone talks about that you can write off, mileage, your home office and things of that nature. But there's other things that you can write off that I'm learning more and more every day that people are not aware of. And then we want to make sure that we provide money saving tax planning strategies for future work that you do and help you to minimize those audit risks. So the last topic that we're actually going to cover in the series that we're doing is going to be on audit risk and talking about mitigating your audit risk that may be out there, things that expose you. But I'm going to make an announcement in the beginning, and then I'm going to make the same announcement in the end for those who hop on at a later time. Bryant Business Solutions has made an executive decision. We are closing any new incoming business. So anyone else from this point on, if you need your taxes done, the only thing that we're offering at this point is for you to file an extension. And so we're not going to do any new onboarding of clients. If I've already spoken with you and we've already had our strategy call, or if you're in the process of uploading documents, you will still have until Friday at 5 p.m. to get every last document uploaded. My goal is to have everything complete off my desk back to you all full in your hand by Sunday at the latest. Monday, I just want to use for cleanup if possible. And then again, it'll still be open at that time. If we are where we want to be, we'll open it back up for you to be able to submit your documents if you have W-2 income only. All businesses, we have completely cut that off. We're no longer, yes, girl, we made it. We have officially cut it off because I want to make sure that I'm able to provide the service and my team is able to provide the services for those clients that we have that have onboarded already. So until next year. Now, one thing that we will be doing heavily at the end of tax season is we'll be venturing into credit repair, business credit, and capital funding over the next few months. I am super excited. June 1st, we will be launching some things, as well as I will begin another, because I've done some credit repair courses. We'll be starting another, I'll be starting another class just to get some more education and background. And I will also be on a mini hiatus a little bit because I'm going to start studying for my EA exam, which a lot of it is going to come pretty natural to me because just because I've been doing this for so long, but then there's just so many tax law changes. Yes, ma'am. Expansion. So I want to be able to offer these things and run some plays that my mentors have been talking about. I just need to get my head above water when it comes to the taxes. The other thing that is not the greatest news, I know, to a lot of people, we're going to be changing exactly how we vet our clients going into the next tax season. There's a lot of things that we're going to eliminate just because this year is proven to be a challenging one, on top of COVID, on top of the stimulus payments, has proven to be a challenge, very, very, very challenging tax season, just because of all the changes that's happening. But one thing that I've seen across the board, and it's not just with me, it's with my sisters and brothers in craft, that we're finding that people are hopping into businesses and they don't understand the business. They don't understand exactly what should be happening within their business, what they're responsible for. And we did talk about that one night last week in my the master class that I'm doing. We talked about, what your responsibilities are as a taxpayer. But according to the taxpayer bill of rights, you're not supposed to pay any more in taxes than you actually owe. And the thing is, if your books are in order, you're paying more than you owe. You're only supposed to pay your fair share based on your earnings in your current tax situation. And so I work with clients, and there's some that I've worked with over the years that it's just gotten to a point that I'm going to have to put my foot down. And not that I don't want to work through processes with anyone, but if you're not in a position or you're not prepared, your mindset isn't there to begin to shift into an entrepreneurial mindset, I can no longer drag you along. I've taken many to water. No one, there's some people that's drinking, but overall, when you look at the masses across the board, again, that my sisters and brothers in craft have been observing, it's happening across the board. So it's no one set of people, but we're offering enough services that a lot of this stuff should be contained at this point. But there's just so many new businesses popping up right now. And when we want to make sure that you're compliant at all times, and then also that you stay audit ready. One of those things, essentially, one of the big things that I've talked about a little bit before, and you want to look at, is when you're choosing an accounting professional, we have to get out of the social media mindset of, oh, they got a lot of followers, oh, they go live, oh, they do this, oh, they do that, but truly finding a connection with someone and ensuring that that is the right tax professional for you. Now, I say this not to bash anyone with titles behind their name, but just because someone is a CPA, it does not mean that their tax knowledge is where it should be. It does not mean that they're abreast of the tax situations. They may only be working on audits and attestation. So you have to make sure that you're choosing the right professional for your business, for accounting and for tax services, to make sure that you have someone that's willing to answer your questions. Unless you sign up for a service that doesn't have a consultation attached to it, in which a lot of professionals will offer those services that don't have consultations, and then they'll start a higher package with the consult that comes with it, monthly or quarterly or what have you. When you get a service that doesn't include that, you're shortchanging yourself, because now, yes, you get to email or whatever, but you're limiting what you have access to, because you may have those questions as soon as someone is actually discussing your books with you. And you want to take full advantage of that opportunity. One thing that I put in place that has proven that it's really been a benefit is the document review at the end of tax preparation. And so I see where there's areas of opportunity, or as I'm going through it with my clients, they'll say, oh, I forgot this, or oh, this, or I see something that they may be able to capitalize on based on how the conversation goes. So this is your business. You want to make sure that you're interviewing these professionals. And I'm not saying And what I'm not saying, let's make this clear. I'm not saying shop because necessarily of price, although you want to make sure that you select someone that's in your price point, but I'm saying find the best person for your need. Find the best person that will work with you, that will educate you, that you will leave empowered. You will know more about your tax situation. There's been cases where I've seen, but just because I'm a part of a conglomerate of other tax and accounting professionals across the board, where we've seen that because someone is popular on social media, you're going to them for certain services that they're not really versed in. Yeah, they may have set their LLC up, or yeah, they may have set their business up, but it doesn't mean it's right. So and a lot of times we say, oh, as long as you're doing it, but are these people continuing education in this area? Are they continuing to study in these areas? Which is another reason I want to make sure that I get my enrolled agents designation, that a lot of people don't even understand what that is. It just allows me, in the event for my clients with tax resolution issues, if I need to fight before the IRS for them, and notice I said for them, you can actually send your professional, your CPA, your enrolled agent, your attorney to fight on your behalf, and you don't even have to go. So I want to be able to provide that, just because I love digging into the meat and potatoes of tax law. And for those who don't know me personally, I was a lawyer in my first life. Just so you know, I will argue a case, and I will argue that point down, especially when I know it's right. And what I want to do is be able to fight for the people. You want to make sure that you understand the credentials that your person has and what their limitations may be. You want to ask all the right questions. You want to make sure you're answering the questions that are relevant to your specific business. So if your business, for example, has sales tax attached to it, you want to make sure you're getting answers to your sales tax questions. You want to make sure that you understand that, hey, I should be preparing a sales tax report monthly for my state and filing it, whether I make any money or not. You want to make sure that your person that you select, you want to make sure that they know to have you file those losses, because now you can carry them forward into another year. So these are the things that I want to make sure that you all have full advantage and full access to. There's some other things I have in the pipeline. My whiteboard is full. What I got up there right now says run the play, and I have several plays written up there of things that are areas of opportunity to expand and to grow, but then also be able to give back of myself as much as I can. Everything isn't always about making the dollar. It's about educating the people. It's about making sure that you understand. It's about making sure that you're not getting yourself in situations that you don't have to be in. TikTok is not and should not be your where you go at for your tax advice. So, and not that some of the information that's on there is inaccurate, but that should not be what you stand on. You should be able to have a professional that knows how to dig in those publications, know how to look at the case law, and knows how to pull that information out as it applies to your situation. So those are some things that we got going on. The IRS is actually beginning to process those tax returns that have been held up for some people for a year. Since last year, people haven't been getting refunds. We're starting to see some of those come through. Again, keep in mind the IRS is increasing audits. They are manually processing these returns now. So they're looking at the details of the return rather than shooting them through the electronic system and saying, boom, issue the refund. A lot of refunds were held up. Maybe 1 in 3 actually received their refunds this year. So, which is a pretty low number, but it's because they're on the back end, they're doing their due diligence. And also, of course, again, they have to recoup this money somehow from all the stimulus and PPP money that they gave out, you know, and it left their door wide open for fraud to occur on the levels that it has. And unfortunately, the good have to suffer with the bad. If your stuff is in order, your stuff is correct, you're having to suffer because you're having to wait on your refund. However, one thing that I tell my clients, I don't advertise the biggest refund because I'm not looking to get my clients the biggest refund. I want to see their businesses grow. I want to see their businesses thrive. And so that means that you should be paying taxes in some area. But there are cases where we're able to mitigate those federal tax expenses, and you may just be responsible for self-employment tax if that's how you're structured. But I don't advertise the biggest refund for that reason, because then we begin to rely on that and we limit ourselves. We put a ceiling on ourselves and say, oh, this is as far as I can go. Now, if you are wanting to come out of corporate so bad, or you're sick of your 9 to 5, you're sick of somebody telling you when you can and can't go to the restroom. I had that actually occur. You have someone watching over your shoulder constantly. You don't want to have yourself in that situation, but then you're still bound in your mind to that situation. At some point, you have to release your mind from that and get to a place where you say, I ain't worrying about the taxes, but then I'll look for strategies to mitigate that where I'm still making money on whatever avenue I decide to take, be it investing or hiring your children or implementing the Augusta rule so that you can earn this money tax-free by renting your home to your business. So these are strategies that we put in place or we look at when it comes to mitigating those tax liabilities. We want to keep them as low as possible, and that means we're redirecting those funds. The other thing that I saw, I had a client actually talk to today that she was saying, well, I didn't earn that much in this particular business and they didn't send me a 1099. Well, one thing that a lot of people don't realize is you have to make at least $20,000 before certain, the card holders, the 1099K, before those are even issued. They're looking at changing that, but you want to make sure, yep. But you want to make sure that you're reporting all of your income, all cash, 1099, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You want to make sure you're reporting everything that you're earning. Just because you're not required to get a 1099 NEC from a company because you earned less than $600 doesn't mean that you don't have to report that income. Just because in your little side business you only earn $40, $50, $60 doesn't mean that you get to keep that and not report your income. There's certain circumstances where your threshold has you where you're not required to report, but there's so many cases there's so many cases where people don't report that money, and I'm not afraid because I do educate. Again, I can take you to the water, but I can't make you a drink. But I do educate my clients on the fact that if you are not reporting that money, you could cause yourself to be in a situation. Also, if you are still commingling funds, make this the year of change. Make this the year that you do something different. You really set aside, instead of going to get that extra plate of crab legs, only because that's my thing. But instead of going to get that extra plate of crab legs, you say, okay, let me put this aside because now I need to invest in my business in this particular area. They gave out a lot of money, but and I'm not telling no one what to do with their money, but I am telling you to be responsible with it. So I ain't saying what to do with your money, but be responsible, especially if you're a business owner. Be responsible, because you don't want to end up in a situation that you're paying out more money than you really had to, simply because you weren't responsible with it. Okay. PPP has, exhausted their funds ahead of time. There are petitions that are going around that, to send to Congress and everyone else, petitioning for more money to be added. But as of right now, it's only going to be in those areas or provided in those areas where there's a need, a specific type of need. The other part of that is those people whose apps were already in process. Those people whose apps or your information was already being processed, they are still moving forward with some of those. And the only reason I can attest to that now, and I try to share from real life experiences or conversations that I have with my colleagues, the only reason I know that is because my clients are still getting their deposits dropped. So understand that they are still processing some of those, and there's and then the restaurants, they're trying to help bail you out some, so that particular provision is in there also. I know I just went through quite a bit, but does anyone have any questions? Anything you want to add? Anything you want to talk about? Yay? No? Yay? Again, I am at capacity. My team is at capacity as it pertains to tax preparation, so we will not be taking any new clients. Those clients, again, that wish to have Bryant Business Solutions prepare their taxes, we will revisit that after tax season, but you will have to file an extension. Unless you want to take the risk. I got some risk takers out there that'll say, I just won't file an extension and I won't file on time either. Totally up to you. Again, I don't beg anyone to do anything. However, I do want to make sure that you understand there are consequences. And then keep in mind, the extension is for an extension to file, not an extension to pay. And the filing penalty, if you do not do that, is 4.5% every single month that you have not filed your taxes, up to 25%. And then the failure to pay penalty is much less, which is why we tell you to file even if you can't pay, is much less, is 0.5%. You still wait? I'm still waiting on mine. I had to go and prove my identity for one small mistake. Yeah. Again, well, they held those taxes up last year for that as well. Everything has to align, which is why a lot of times when I go to prepare taxes, there's certain documents I require, and I require them not to be a pain, but just so we won't have back end issues. And I always prepare taxes, or any taxes, bookkeeping, any of those services. I prepare it in a manner of, I want to be as detailed as possible because I don't want them to have a reason to audit you. Now, no one is 100% audit proof, but if they can see the information right there in their face and they can see it step by step, let the paper tell the story. I don't want them calling you, emailing you, or whatever, sending you a mail saying you got an appointment date to be audited. I don't want them to do that. I don't want to leave any questions. We want to also make sure that we're doing proper record keeping and we're documenting, and that's the information you're submitting to your preparer. Because if you're saying that you made this exorbitant amount of, you have this exorbitant amount of expenses and it doesn't make sense, I will tell you, Tawana's not going to submit it. Tawana's just not going to do it, because if it doesn't make sense to me, I know the IRS is going to get it and it's not going to make sense to them either. So with all the folks getting or applying for these PPP loans, are they not liable to pay them back, as everyone is saying? No. So with the PPP loans, in 8 to 24 weeks, they can be forgiven if you spent them appropriately. And that's not happening either. Now, one of the ways to spend that is on payroll. 60% has to go to payroll. And for a sole proprietor, if you're in business for yourself or got PPP funds because you had a 1099, you can transfer that money from your business account where the funds were deposited. And I recommend everyone get a totally separate account just to track PPP. But you transfer that to the personal account in consistent increments at consistent times. So like every Friday you pay yourself $500. Every Friday you pay yourself $800 until those funds are exhausted, and then you apply for forgiveness. And a lot of those loans are forgiven. However, there's still so much fraud that has happened. That doesn't mean because it appears that you already got your money, spent your money, and apply for forgiveness, that they're not going to come back and revisit that. So it can be it can turn into a kind of a grant versus it being a loan. So technically, yes, it's free money for your business, but you have to have a legitimate business. And I've seen a lot of stuff going on. People creating companies and saying that these companies, oh, this is my business. I have, okay. Saying I have a business when you truly didn't have a viable business in place, but somebody just put something with LLC on the end, and then you submitted that as your documentation. Now, while they did accept mock 2020 tax returns for those people who didn't file yet, they accepted the mock 2020 Schedule Cs. It still has to line up. It still has to be accurate. So there's going to be a lot of back end checking, and y'all, we don't want to play with this. That's Fed time. You're playing with the federal government. And then also people are doing that, but then they're getting their food stamps, they're getting their government housing, and there's nothing wrong with any of that. I was a recipient for years. There's nothing wrong with any of that. But the problem comes in is now you're reporting to the SBA and saying, I made multiple six figures in this business that I created. And that's where they're cracking down. And it's unfortunate because, again, the good have to suffer with the bad. Now, what I was saying, Lindsay, about the 8 to 24 weeks is you have an 8 to 24 week period to exhaust those funds, and then you apply for forgiveness within that window of 8 to 24 weeks. So it started out where it was only 8 weeks where you got the money and you had to spend it on payroll, operation costs, and those other things, rent, expense. You had to spend it within 8 weeks. And then the law changed. I think that was on that December passing of the new law that went through in December. I don't think it was on that last one. How you on both platforms? You got your girl, I see. But you have 8 to 24 weeks to apply for forgiveness, to exhaust the funds and then apply for forgiveness. So you want to make sure that you do that. But if you didn't spend it correctly, then it's still a very low interest rate loan. So you're still getting a back end benefit. But it made it really, really difficult, which is why the funds are exhausted way before it should have been, because people were they was doing what they wanted to do with it. You know, the thing is, we should always want to do the right thing, but everyone is not me. So, and I know that I've learned that everyone's not me, but ultimately, the unjust don't prosper. It ain't gonna last but so long. It's not gonna last but so long. So that's it for what I wanted to specifically talk about tonight. Again, if anyone has any additional questions, or if there's anything, how does the loan affect a person's taxes when they file? It doesn't. So the PPP funds are just like a regular loan. If you got a loan in your business, it doesn't go on your taxes. However, you do record it in your bookkeeping as a liability, because now you're having to pay that back, but it's not recorded anywhere on the tax return. And then before, when they first started, Congress was saying, okay, once it turns into a grant, then you have to claim it, but then that changed as well. So it's the same as the stimulus. The only difference between that and the actual stimulus is, with the stimulus, if you don't get your funds during the year when you should have, then you can claim it on your taxes and get the recovery rebate credit. And that will either reduce your tax liability, or it would get you a larger refund, because they'll give you the rest of your money on that. And they even, when it came to the stimulus, they just really didn't think this process out. So they're double dipping, in which they say they're not going after anyone for that, when that's their mistake. That, for example, if there's a separated couple, that one spouse or one person claims the child 1 year and one claims the child the next year, both parents ended up, in a sense, getting that stimulus money, because they weren't sure, and the years crossed over for them. So now both people got the 1,200 and the 600 for the same child, and they shouldn't have, but that's what they said so far. And then for unemployment, our direction has still been to hold off on processing any amendments for that. They're saying they're going to process all of that, and that should start around, I want to say, June, July. And then the additional child tax credit that you have the opportunity, if you have children under 17. Hey, Amy Kristen, if you have children under 17 that you were getting a child tax credit, you have the opportunity to take advantage of it starting in July. And again, I have a feeling that's going to be a problem as well. Again, for those people that one person claims the child 1 year, one person claims the child the next year. So I can see where issues are going to arise from that too. So, or kids that are kind of they're coming off of their parents' tax return and now going on to their own. It's gonna I don't know, and I don't know how they would monitor that. I guess to see. It probably would make sense for them to kind of split it and say, okay, this parent gets half, this parent gets half, and call it a day. But both are getting the full amounts. Okay. Well, if you guys do not have any more questions or don't have anything you want to talk about, then I am going to hop off. Again, as I said in the beginning, we have officially shut down our new client or new onboarding clients as of today. The original date was tomorrow at 5 p.m., but we've gone ahead and closed it just because we want to provide the services for the clients that we already have being processed. If you've already had your strategy session and we've already discussed you being onboarded, or if I'm just waiting for you to upload your documents and you paid your bill already, go ahead and do that. We're going to, see you through the process. You've been added into that number. If you're catching this on the replay, because I know somebody in particular who I know they're going to be submitting their stuff. So know that I got mama and them taken care of. If I claim my adult child, does that interfere with anything she would qualify for if she filed herself? And anything like what? Like maybe any type of benefits or anything? I need you to explain that a little bit more. This is what I got, the emoji I got. Okay. So not necessarily. They do, of course, when you go for like government assistance and things of that nature, they ask about the other family members in the household. But it doesn't necessarily disqualify them from anything because they're still considered and I know what you're asking and why you're asking it. They're still considered their own household when it comes to those things, but they may ask who else lives in the house. Now, but they can still be claimed, them and any dependents, if they're not working, they can still be claimed on your taxes, but then they're still their own household to qualify for those type of benefits. So, and I didn't say it Monday, but I hope everybody, did I say it? I don't remember. I hope everyone had a really good Mother's Day. Believe it or not, I didn't touch the computer at all. Intentionally unintentional. And then I've been feeling, I don't know, this weather has been a little weird. So I've been kind of sluggish and kind of off. I can tell when I'm off. I've been kind of off, which is why another reason I didn't want to try to finish up. But tomorrow night, I won't go live at 7 because I have Bible study. I may go live at 6 tomorrow, 6 p.m., just so it's not so late, because before I've been going after Bible study and it's been a little bit later. Thank you. But I'll go live tomorrow, and then we'll finish up that series that we were doing. And then I have some freebies to give away, especially for those who've been following and taking notes and making sure you got you're getting your goodies and your nuggets and your gems that's being dropped. I think it's always a good opportunity to fact check one. So anything that I tell you, even when it comes to me, Tawana does not know everything about everything. I'm not the end all be all. Check the sources, okay? Typically, when I have my clients ask a question and they're not sure and they seem a little eerie, I show them the publication where the information is at. And the information I pull, while I may study material, I reference back to the IRS guides. And also keep in mind that the IRS is just trying to interpret a law too that Congress put in place. So the IRS does not make the law. They're doing exactly what we're doing, trying to interpret it, but we're trying to protect you. We're the middleman to protect you from them and making sure when you submit that information to them, as accurate as possible. And then again, as I said, business owners, be responsible. Make sure you're getting your books done. You're doing your books. Again, Stride tax app, Stride, STRIDE. Show me the publication. I know that. Yes, that's our shirt. She's saying I want a shirt that says show me the publication. But make sure that you download an app that you're going to use. And what the other thing is, when you're starting out with QuickBooks Simple Start and Self-Employed is not always the best way to go, just because it doesn't provide the valuable reports that you need to make management decisions within your business. So I am also on the road this year to becoming the CEO in my business and not a business owner. There's a difference. The business owner is still actively working in their business constantly, and the CEO is overseeing the people that's working in the business. So by this year, I will be a retired business owner and transferring and putting on my full CEO hat. I'm partially there. I'm getting there, but so a lot of things are going to change, and it's going to get to a point that you're going to have to follow the system. It's no workarounds. It's no, is this acceptable or is that acceptable? Because it slows down the process. It really does slow down the process of us being able to serve you at the fullest capacity. And that's honestly why we're a little behind or moving a little slow as it pertains to tax season. It's because a lot of people, I receive it, all of it. It's because we're having to pacify so many business owners, and those people it's just taking too much time for stuff that should have been taken care of throughout the year. So if you do a little bit every day or a little bit every week, if you do a little bit every day, a little bit every week, over time, just like this weight loss journey I'm about to try to go on again, if I walk a little bit today and do a little bit today and a little bit more every week, the weight will come off. The same thing happens in your business. You do a little bit every day, you will begin to see the fruits of your labor, as well as the fact that it will become second nature and it won't seem like it's taking any amount of time. I have a client that right now, I think she has 3 or 4 businesses, and she does her own books. It takes her 45 minutes, she said. But it's because she did those little things. Yes, we'll be on that journey together. It's those little things that add up for you to be able to see the full picture in your business so much easier. It'll be so much clearer. Blame it on 2020? No, ma'am. No excuses. We team no excuses over here. But there's so many things that you can benefit from. And then another thing is, even when it came down to PPP, there were certain things that they were asking for proof or documentation at some point throughout the course of applying for those PPP loans. And people just didn't have their stuff in order, so they couldn't even apply because your stuff isn't in order. So we always want to be ready so we don't have to get ready. Now, Team 2020, I won't say Team 2020 made me fat necessarily, but Team 2020, I maintained where I was, which was already above where I should have been. So 2021, it's all peeling off so we can be July ready. For those who don't know, my birthday is in July, so we can be July ready. And yeah, now I ain't trying to put on no two-piece or nothing, but trying to be cute. Just a little cute. All right, guys. Well, I have been on here yapping long enough. If there is nothing else that you have any questions about or you want to discuss specifically, or if there is something that you think of after the fact, hit me in the DM. And then I do have my special people that's going to send me a text. That's going to send me a text. Y'all ain't going to know what to do when I get the real business line that's completely separate from my phone. And I'll be shutting that phone off and putting it on airplane mode or do not disturb and leaving it there. And it's no workaround because my daughter has learned how to get a workaround that I can put the stuff on and she'll still ring in. I'll be like, oh, sis, but it's okay. All right, guys. I hope you have an amazing rest of your Tuesday. Check back in with me on Wednesday. I'm gonna try to make a post for whatever time I'm going to decide to go live. I'm going to try to make a post, y'all. But I've been in the trenches. I've been really like working to get these last few taxes. And I actually need to rewrite them on my whiteboard so that I can see where I'm at. Even though, I write stuff down in 15 different places. Like I'll have it on a board next to me. I'll have it on my Trello board electronically, and then I'll have it on my whiteboard up. So just probably because I want to see it, their names come off. So, all right. Well, guys have an amazing rest of your day, and I will chat with you soon. Bye-bye. Oh.